So there are 6 trades, in my view, that can create ripple effects and just cause chaos and basically blow up the entire MLB trading deadline this year. And, I think cause teams in their own division, in their league, to have to wind up making other trades just because teams like this have made a move like this, and I'm going to mention in a second, that weren't expected. And I think, it could cause a lot of chaos, cause a lot of fun for us. And, and I also think it would make teams a lot more competitive and would tighten up divisions as well. So I want to go over these trades. I want you to let me know what you think. Number 1, Max Scherzer to the Houston Astros. Okay. They're 47-28 right now. And that right there, they're already, and that's minus Garrett Cole, minus Justin Verlander, a declining Zach Greinke. I don't even know who the hell else they have. Maybe Jake Odorizzi. But, the lineup's still elite minus George Springer, but they're still performing. And if they add a pitcher like this, and I wouldn't be surprised because all those other guys I mentioned, they got in trades except for Odorizzi. They got a guy like this, Max Scherzer, and they still have the prospects to be able to get him. It would create chaos in the American League West. It would force the Oakland A's to have to make a move. And, probably a significant one. And I think they're probably going to wind up making one anyway, but the move like this would probably cause them to have to make 2 moves. And it would create a tighter race in the American League West. So, and again, when you make a move like this, you force your competition to make moves and have to do that. That's what baseball is all about. It's what the competitive baseball is all about. So that's trade number 1. Number 2, Chris Bryant to the New York Mets. This would create, I think, chaos in the National League East as well because there's been talk about the Braves potentially going after him as a multi-positional guy to go with Austin Riley and some of the other guys in their lineup, particularly if Freddie Freeman doesn't sign back with them after the season. And there's also been talk about him replacing Rendon at the Nationals. Probably less likely, but you never know. Plus, if and then that also is contingent upon if the Nationals move on from Max Scherzer, there's no guarantee they're going to bring in. They might just unload some guys and get some prospects. But so I would be on the lookout for this as well. Plus, it would again. I think the Mets are like one piece away from being the hands-down best team in the National League East. They're not there yet, I don't think, but they're close. But this will kind of solidify that, and again, make them more competitive against because they're going to need a guy like this to go through the Dodgers and the Padres and like teams like that, even the Giants. So if they made a move like this, again, it would create a ripple effect and all across the National League East, specifically the East. Number 3, going back to the AL West, Luis Castillo over to the Anaheim Angels, okay, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And this, I think, would create a ripple effect, too. The Angels will be buying low because he's had a rough year, but they'd still give him a hefty bounty of prospects, but I think this is the time to probably go after him. And if somebody offers him, doesn't lowball significantly, I think they could probably get him. And if the Angels did it, him coming into that rotation, which they desperately need pitching, if they made a move for a reliever, too, and with Trout coming back healthy with the way Ohtani and some of these other guys are performing, it'll definitely tighten up the race in the American League West. And it would make it a hell of a lot more competitive. And I think it would force teams like the Astros and the A's to have to make a move. And again, that's what these teams do. Sometimes they'll make a move and force the other teams to overpay for somebody that they may not need. So, that's the other part of the competitive baseball landscape too. But I think this would create an NL West scenario where they have a three-headed monster. And I think with Trout coming back and a Castillo and maybe a reliever, it would create a little bit of a three-headed monster in the American League West. I still think they need 2 pitchers, maybe even 3 at some point. They have to build into this rotation this year and next year. But Castillo would be a nice start. And again, he's an upgrade over pretty much everybody they have. So that's trade 3. Trade 4 is a multiplayer trade. Rich Rodriguez and Adam Frazier from the Pittsburgh Pirates over to the Atlanta Braves. This would create the need to not have to get a Chris Bryant. You have Adam Frazier who can play multiple positions. And they need a righty reliever. They have a bunch of lefties, but Rich Rodriguez gives them a dominant righty reliever. Adding with a top elite utility player like Frazier who can play multiple positions, like I said, and that's the type of trade the Atlanta Braves would be well off making. And they have the prospect capital and player capital to make it happen. And again, it would force the Mets to have to make a move, probably force the Phillies to have to make a move. Because I know a lot of these teams are looking at Rich Rodriguez. So if they jump the gun and get him and get an Adam Frazier, it'll create chaos in the National League East. And these are the types of moves, like I said, it could blow up the deadline because these are players that a lot of other teams, he's probably going to go here. There's so many people talking about Scherzer going to the Cardinals or the Yankees or blah, blah. or, not even mentioning Luis Castillo. But there's a lot of folks talking about Frazier and Rich Rodriguez. I don't think nobody's mentioned him going to the Braves. So the Braves will create a ripple effect all across the board. So that's trade number 4. Number 5, this is contingent upon the Cubs not moving on from Chris Bryant. Jose Berrios of the Twins going to the Cubs. Then deciding they're not going to blow it up and they're going to try and compete this year and go for the playoffs, bringing in a top flight starter and adding to Kyle Hendricks and what they have there already. And you bring in a legitimate guy here to pair with Hendricks. Now they have a top flight 1-2 in that rotation, which will make it, which will be much more competitive with the Brewers and the other teams in the National League. So this is an unexpected trade, in my opinion. I don't think people are expecting the Cubs to maybe get a guy. I could see them potentially. It depends. I mean, how they do the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, and if they decide to blow it up, then they'll move Bryant and other players. But if they don't, I see them adding, and this is the type of guy that I could see them adding that would make a significant impact on this team's performance. So that's trade number 5. And the last but not least is Ketel Marte to the Cleveland Indians. Okay, they're still good. They're still competitive in the American League Central. I don't think anybody's talking about him going to the Indians, but they need another guy like this, a contact hitter who plays multiple positions, and putting him with what's his name, their first base, oh my God, Jose Ramirez, and some of these other young dynamic guys in the lineup. That would make for a much more fun lineup, a much more versatile and athletic lineup. And again, it would be much more competitive with the teams in their division. It would force I think it would force the White Sox and the Twins to have to make corresponding moves to combat that. So again, that's why I like moves like this. They're proactive, preemptive too, and they're just out of nowhere. And these are the types of trades that will force 2 or 3 or 4 other trades that have to happen. That's why I say kind of create chaos and blow up the trade deadline. So let me know what you think of these 6 trades. Okay, I think they could. I think they could create all kinds of nuts. So all kinds of craziness. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'll be doing a recap of the Yankees' first game against Boston. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.